Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to our 25th online weekly cultural heritage of Kashmir series. Today's lecture is by Sri Bushan Bhat on origins of Zeashta Devi, subsequent developments, and temple tourism. First, we begin with a prayer song by Srimati Ambika Srikant. Ambika Srikant took her initial lessons in Carnatic music from Shri E.N.S. Mani and late Shri Venkatacham of Calcutta. After moving to Delhi, learned from well-known gurus, late K.R. Kumaraswamy and his daughter, late Shri T.G. Badri Narayanan. She was also fortunate in learning Kritis online from Srimati Gayatri Girish, Shri Ram Kumar, Sri Vijay Siva, and Shri Saket Raman. Her passion for passing on the music that she had inherited over the years has brought a number of students into her fold who are learning this art form in a traditional manner. A few of them have already made a mark in the concert circuits and started to give concerts. We will have one of them next week. Now over to Ambikaji.
Namaskaram. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Really thankful to Shankarji and his team for having invited me to this to perform the prayer song. I am blessed to render 3 stanzas of Sharada Bhujangam, and I am equally blessed because today happens to be the Vasant Panchami day. So really blessed. Thank you, sir. सुवक्षोजकुम्भां सुधापूर्णकुम्भां प्रसादावलम्भां प्रपुण्यावलम्भां सुवक्षोजकुम्भां सुधापूर्णकुम्भां प्रसादावलम्भां प्रपुण्यावलम्भां सदा सेन्दुबिम्बां सदा नोष्टबिम्बां भजे शारदाम्बाम् अजस्रं मदम्बाम् सदा नोष्टबिम्बां भजे शारदाम्बाम् अजस्रं मदम्बाम् कटाक्षे दयाद्रां करे ज्ञानमुद्रां कलाभिर्विनिद्रां कलापे सुभद्राः कटाक्षे दयाद्रां करे ज्ञानमुद्रां कलाभिर्विनिद्रां कलापे सुभद्राः पुरस्त्रीं विनिद्रां पुरस्तुङ्गभद्रां भजे शारदाम्बाम् अजस्रं मदम्बाम् पुरस्त्रीं विनिद्रां पुरस्तुङ्गभद्रां भजे शारदाम्बाम् अजस्रं मदम्बाम् ललामाङ्गफलां लसद्गानलोलां स्वभक्तैकपालां यशश्रीकपोलाम् ललामाङ्गफलां लसद्गानलोलां स्वभक्तैकपालां यशश्रीकपोलां करे त्वक्षमालां कनत्प्रत्नलोलां भजे शारदाम्बाम् अजस्रं मदम्बाम् करे त्वक्षमालां कनत्प्रत्नलोलां भजे शारदाम्बाम् अजस्रं मदम्बाम् Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Thank you, Ambikaji, for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again in our program. Our speaker today is Sri Bharat Bushan Bhat. I had the pleasure of meeting Bharat Bushan Ji during my first visit to Kashmir sometime in 2012. He has been very closely involved in Shankar Jayanti functions organized by Shri Kanchi Mutt since 2010. Our president of MDS and senior advocate Shri Balasubramanian has been coordinating this for over 10 years now. Bharat Bushan Ji served in the Indian Audit and Accounts Department and retired as Deputy Accountant General in Office of the Accountant General, Jammu and Kashmir. During his posting at Srinagar, he was associated in the formation of Zeashta Devi Prabandakh Committee, a registered body under the Societies Act, with the primary task of looking after the affairs of the committee and organizing social, cultural, religious, and charitable works. And in 2009, took over as president of the committee. He played an important role during the floods of Kashmir in the year 2014, with the committee premises situated at Zeathyar becoming one of the biggest relief camps, where more than 8,000 people were accommodated, including women, patients with newborn babies. For this noble cause, the then Honorable Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, His Excellency Shri N. Vora, felicitated the committee. Presently representing and leading the Jammu and Kashmir chapter of Global Kashmir Pandit Business Foundation, which is a worldwide platform to support the budding entrepreneurs and startups of Jammu and Kashmir. For his selfless service and dedication, several awards and felicitations were conferred on him, including Yashashkar Samman Jammu Kashmir, Harmugh Ganga Award, Sharika Saman. I'm just naming a few. Actually, the list runs to a few pages. Graduated from Amar Singh College in 1974 and also LLB from Kashmir University in 1977. We are very happy to welcome Shri Bharat Bushan Bhat on this auspicious Basant Panchami day today, and also Kashmir Unity Day. The whole village of Karna Kupwara celebrated Kashmir Unity Day, and we are seeing lots of messages in the media. As always, we thank Sri Kanchi Mutt for our ongoing initiative and offer our namaskaram to His Holiness Sri Shankara Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal. With his blessings, we continue with our Kashmir Cultural Heritage Awareness Lectures. Sri Kanchi Mutt has always been in the forefront, modestly working with the sole aim of national integration, spiritual enlightenment, and spreading the uniqueness as Kashmir is our cultural heritage. We are now very pleased to request Bharat Bushanji. Please.
Namaskar. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Namaskar to everybody. I'm really thankful to Sri Kanchi Kamakoti Peetam, Sri Sabatan Samsthanam, Mayadma Dharma Samajam, and Kanchi Kamakoti Seva Foundation USA for giving me an opportunity to speak in a very important Kashmir Cultural Heritage series. And the culture and heritage of Kashmir has been of the highest order right from start. The most authentic and most valid documentation has been given in Raj Tarangini of Mr. Kalhana, a renowned writer. He says about Kashmir that the Kashmir is such a holy place that you see a temple, a tirtha, a religious place, a symbols of faith at every step. Such is the cultural involvement of Kashmiri Pandits to their dharma, because we are Sanatan Dharmas. We are Sanatan Dharma Brahmins, and one of the oldest dharma. And then Kalana has given a full description of what people were like and all that, and their religious relevance, their religious enlightenment, their religious emancipation. And since it is not a question-answer series, I would like to divide my presentation into 4 parts. Number one is part one, that's migration of Kashmiri Pandits from Kashmir. Number two, part two will be present displacement and development of Zeashta Devi Shrine. Third will be development of the Zeashta Devi Shrine into a very, yatri friendly atmosphere. And then we can discuss about religious tourism. Kalhana had visited Kashmir in 12,000th century. The history, the cultural history of Kashmiri Pandits is almost 7,000 years back, years old. And after Kalhana's visit in Kashmir in 12th century, miseries of Kashmiri Pandit Brahmins, Sanatan Brahmins, started from 1389, when Sikandar Butshikan took over as the king of Kashmir. He was otherwise called Butcher of Kashmir. He was a tyrant, a cruel head. He spared no stone to kill Pandits, force coercion, force conversion, or abducted ladies. On the Kashmir, which resulted into migration, the first migration the Kashmiri Brahman Samaj, Kashmiri Sanatani Samaj took was in 1389 to 1405. This was the first migration of Kashmiri Pandits, Sanatan Kashmiri Pandits from Srinagar, from Kashmir to outside country. After his death, his son took over as the king. His name was Ali Shah. He was equally tyrant. He was equally atrocious. He committed equally miseries on the Kashmiri Pandits. And you did not give them any relief. Levied taxes on them. Thereby, he ascended to the throne on 1413, and this was the second migration of Kashmiri Pandits from Kashmir. Then in 1477, Shamsuddin Iraqi came from Iraq. He was a Shia, and he founded Shia cult, Shia sect in Kashmir, and he was equally bore that criminal background and was equally cruel to Kashmiri Pandits. Kashmiri Pandits being God-loving Pandits, God-fearing, again they had to migrate to save their women folk, to escape the conversion. But conversion was rampant in all the three migrations. This was the third migration. Fourth migration took place during the time when Aurangzeb took over. Aurangzeb took over in 1658, and he ruled till 1707. He ruled for 49 years, 7 months and 11 days. He was also a very cruel king. Normally, kings used to have a very benevolent heart. Kings used to be very kind. As we see all Hindu kings, we see Ashoka, we see Kanishka, we see Lalitaditya. They were all kind kings. For them, every subject, every public, irrespective of caste, creed, color, sex, and wealth, were equal. But such was not the case with Aurangzeb as well. He also committed atrocities on Kashmiri Pandits. He also committed conversions and virtually forced levied taxes for being a Kashmiri Pandit, being a being an being or to belong to a dharma which is not in consonance with Islam. So this was the fourth migration Kashmiri Pandits took. Then after his death, his son Mullah Abdul Nabi, popularly known then as Muhammad Khan, he took over took over the reins in 1720. Again, the mayhem and the atrocities on Kashmiri Brahmins never ceased. It continued. This resulted in their fifth migration. Then sixth migration was in Afghan rule. Afghanis were also equally tyrants, equally cruel, equally intolerant, levied taxes, levied jizyas on Sanatan Brahmins. Their own folk was not safe, their life was not safe. So this has taken, people took the sixth migration. Now we say now in 1990, again 19th of January 1990, Kashmiri Pandits again migrated to elsewhere, to Jammu, to Delhi, to Chandigarh, to Gwalior, Rajkot, all places of India. Because again, in 88, the process started and the Pakistan sent militants in Kashmir who created a mayhem, who killed around 4,000 Kashmiri Pandits, who who spoke venom on loudspeakers of masjids. It became a very horrifying example for all Kashmiri Pandits. They were bundled up in one rooms and they did escape Kashmir in whatever form, with whatever little things they could carry along with them. This was the seventh migration. It was 1990 to it is progressing till now. In 1990, when around 58,000 families migrated from Kashmir, at that time also, it was presumed, it was, it was a government figure that still 10,000 families stayed back in Kashmir for various reasons. Reasons could be that there were people were living in far-flung areas. In certain villages, there was one family, they could not have the infrastructure of moving out immediately. They planned their movement. So they initially they stayed back, remained calm for some time, and then made ways and means to leave Kashmir. And now government's figure as on today is that there are only 808 families in Kashmir still living Kashmiri Pandits, living at the mercy of Kashmiri Muslims there. So Kashmiri Muslims, in Kashmir also, Muslims who live there, they are also converts. They are all Pandits. They are all converts. And as you know, converts are always fanatic. They become more fanatic than the original people. So they are all converts. And I may tell you, I may add one thing more here, that all the six migrations prior to this 1990, people migrated outside and did not return en bloc to Kashmir because nobody could. Similarly, in 1990, everybody migrated. Now 808 families are in Kashmir. Kashmiri Hindus, Brahmins, they were basically, God-fearing people. They didn't lift a gun. They didn't lift a sword. They didn't lift a AK-56 or AK-47 rifle. They had a pen in their hand. They migrated from Kashmir with pen in their hand and stayed in tents, suffered sunstrokes, suffered snake bites, but taught their children, educated their children, they became educated, and then on the intervention, on the request of a community leader, Shri Amarnath Vaishnavi, who requested Bal Thakreji of Shiv Sena and Maharashtra to accommodate these Kashmiri Pandit boys who have are qualified, who have qualified 12th, who have qualified graduation, to accommodate them in different education institutions so that they can continue their further education. And respected Shri Bal Thakreji was kind enough to allot one seat in every college, in every stream, that reserved one seat for Kashmiri Pandits, and that gave a sustenance to the Kashmiri Pandits, and Kashmiri Pandits could sustain during these hard times out of Kashmir. And now the migration has not stopped. People are speaking about the return of Kashmiri Pandits unless situation is made more conducive, situation is made more peaceful, and Pandits feel that they will be in a position to stand on their own in Kashmir. Only then the reverse migration, I will call it. Once they are out of their homes for 33 years, they are not expected to go back in one go. And plus, with the dynamism in Kashmiri Pandit community, they have worked hard. They are settled in different parts of the country. They are settled overseas. They are settled in every area. They are in London. They are in USA. They are in New Zealand. They are in Canada. They are in every Hong Kong, every country of the world. So it will not be easy to migrate back to Kashmir. Let us see how many percentage. Similarly, the people who have earlier also migrated, out of that also there must have been some percentage of people who have stayed back outside, who didn't return back. And since they were Kashmiri Pandits, they have mixed. They were Pandits. They have mixed with the cross civil society of that area. And in fact, I can tell you that there can be many Kashmiri Pandits living in throughout country. In I can say let me take Gujarat. In Gujarat, some people write their name as Bhat, Bhat. In Kashmir, we write Bhat, Bhat. They write Bhat, Bhat. Similarly, the person who cannot identify his fourth generation ancestor is a Kashmiri Pandit settled outside. So similarly, in this migration, whenever time comes, people have to go back to, will go, but they will see first guarantees for a very secure life. And then what will be the percentage of people going back depends on the situation. This was the background. I told you about the 7 migrations. Then I would like to request Mr. Shankarji to display the photographs of Zeashta Devi.
Shall we play this first?
माँ ज़िष्टा
yes.
का वास है। समुद्र मंथन के समय से ही यहाँ पर माँ ज़िष्टा विराजमान है। 1990 से पहले यहाँ पर यह मंदिर और एक छोटी सी कुटिया देखने को मिलती थी, परंतु कुछ सोशल एक्टिविस्ट और श्रद्धालुओं की पहल से आज इसका नज़ारा कुछ और ही है। टीम ज़िष्टा और लोगों के सहयोग से आज यहाँ पर 2 भव्य धर्मशालाएं हैं। एक का नाम शारदा भवन और दूसरे का नाम शारिक भवन रखा गया है। इतना ही नहीं, दूर दूर से आने वाले संतों के लिए यहाँ पर 3 संत कुटीर का निर्माण भी किया गया है, ताकि जो संत महात्मा यहाँ पर आए वो यहाँ पर अपनी तपस्या में लीन रहे। एक बार जब निर्माण कार्य चल रहा था तो अचानक से क्लाउड बर्स्ट हुआ, तो नीचे से एक शिला प्रकट हुई जिसका रूप माँ शारका की तरह है, और उस शिला को एक भव्य रूप दिया गया, एक मंदिर का निर्माण किया गया जो शिला इसमें विराजमान है। आज विदेशों से, देश से यहाँ पर श्रद्धालु आते हैं और माँ का दर्शन प्राप्त करते हैं। अपनी जो मुरीद होती है माँ से मांगते हैं, माँ उनकी हर मनोकामना पूर्ण कर देती है। ज़िष्टा माता मंदिर उन सभी लोगों के लिए है जो हिंदू धर्म में पूर्ण विश्वास रखते हैं। जय माता दी।
Before I thank you, Shankarji. Before I move to second part, I would like to inform my viewers that Adi Shankara, His Holiness Adi Shankaraji also visited Kashmir in 9th century, in 1788 to 920. He visited almost all places because he knew that the Sanatan Brahmins are living in Kashmir. By that time, there was complete peace. There were Hindu rulers. There was nothing. People had enough time for mediation, prayers and all that. They were all God-fearing. So there are two instances before the Shankaracharya temple was constructed in his day. There are two instances, big instances, which have come across, which are also documented. There is once His Holiness Adi Shankaracharya ji, along with his followers, reached outskirts of Kashmir, outskirts of Srinagar. That place is called Pandretan. They stayed there. They wanted to have some fire. They wanted to cook something for them. So, but they could not have a matchbox or something like that by which they could have lit the fire. So the surrounding people saw them a bit worried. They sent a little daughter, little girl to them, and he inquired from them, what is the issue? What do you want? So they told the girl that we want to light a fire so that we can cook something for us. Legend says that small girl, she lifted two wooden sticks in her hand and rubbed it like this. And fire appeared, and they could burn the fire. And such was the emancipation, such was the enlightenment of Kashmiri Pandit then. It is also legend goes that by the time Adi Shankaracharya was in Srinagar, his preference was Shiva was the great. But we Sanatanis regarded as Shakti equivalent to Shiva. So then, to prove his point, Adi Shankaracharya had a discussion with an ordinary Kashmiri woman, housewife. First, they had a Shartarth. Shartarth means religious discourse for 17 days. After 17 days, His Holiness Adi Shankaracharya yielded and said, yes, Shakti is a part of Shiva. Shiva, and without Shakti these are inseparable parts. So this is the thing. Then after only his temple was constructed in the Gopadri. It was a Gopadri temple. Then the temple was constructed and it was named after Shankaracharya. So part two of after migration, all central government offices, employees were in Jammu. All offices, including my office, gave an option to their employees to either rejoin back their duties under a package, or in case somebody wishes to get adjusted elsewhere also, he can be done that way also. In our office, people opted for Chandigarh, people opted for Delhi, people opted for Gwalior, Jaipur, Rajkot, Bombay, many other places. And there were 170 odd people who opted for Srinagar under a package of free board and free lodge.
The employees were 170 employees, were AG's employees, and even some police department also deployed some people into Srinagar. BSNL also deputed some people to Srinagar. So these employees were placed, I mean, AG office staff were placed in Hotel Centaur. Hotel Centaur and Zeashta Devi Mandir is a half a kilometer distance. So initially, we have a 5-day week. We would go in buses escorted by security to office and come back to Hotel Centaur. And then for Saturdays and Sundays, we had nothing to do. So people would play, gamble. They had no worthwhile work to do. Then once we decided, we are wasting our time, we are wasting our Saturday, Sunday. Why should we have an excursion to the temple? Let's on Saturdays go to temple and cook for food there and have food there, have an excursion time. That will end our monotony. The process started. We would normally every Friday take 1 or 2 patilas, big pots from office canteen. And on Saturday, we would almost 50, 60, 70, 80 people would go to Zeashta Devi. 4 or 5 people would cook food on wood, because there were bushes and wood was enough available there. And after some time, we would take meals, chat there for the day, and evening we would come back. Some months passed like this. Then on one Saturday, we decided that why not to do something constructive? Why not to do something which can benefit the temple? It was a simple one temple and a kutia. That kutia you have seen in the picture, and that was made of mud. It is now of concrete. We have preserved its original shape. But we have its walls are cemented now. Its base is cemented now. It was completely almost collapsed, but we maintained the same shape which it used to be 150 years back. So we thought that we should also do something, some constructive work. We got some, we call it grass cutters. From the market, 2-3 grass cutters. We thought that, okay, we'll go, some people will cook meals and some people will cut bushes from the area. We went as usual and started doing as planned. At the time of having meals, once we assembled, we were almost 52 people that day. It's written in one of books. We were 52 people that day. And once we sat to eat meals, I saw all the arms, face of the people bruised with the thorny bushes. While cutting bushes did bruise their arms, bruise their hands, bruise their face. I got panicky. I thought that it is not the thing which we would like to have. So I mooted a proposal to all these friends. I told them that this is not our job. We can't do it. Just see, everybody is bleeding. Everybody's hands and arms are bruised. Let us do one thing. Let us donate 1 labor each. Labor at that time in 96, 97 would cost 100 rupees. Let us donate a labor each, and then we will get the work done by the laborers. And you will be astonished to know that this initiative paid. There were 129 people or contributed 129 laborers. That means somebody contributed 2 laborers, cost of 2 laborers, some 3, some 1. Overall 129 laborers. That means 12,900 rupees we collected that very moment. And then we started from next Sunday, Saturday, we'll come, we'll conduct our activities as such, but we will supervise the labor. We will be calling 5 or 10 laborers. We will ask them to cut the bushes. So this paid, we cleared the area in the bushes. Doing a work in Zeashta Devi, there was not a Pakka road till then. The road was got, because it was a very, very difficult work to do, get done at that place. We got the road backwardized. In case you the people who have gone there, the main gate, there was no road from main gate to temple. That we extended the road to that place also. And once we decided that we should do something constructive here, because if you see temple and its kund, water kund, I mean spring, in which the Mata is situated, there was nothing. In case a devotee would come to pray before Mata, he would just, in case there's a rain, he had nothing to save himself from. He had to run away and take shelter below some trees and all that. So we decided that we should do something. We decided that we should have first the puja mandap, just before, the Mata temple, before, where a pujari could sit, stand and pray. We constructed that puja mandap. Once we constructed that puja mandap with the donations of the public, with the donation of the aged staff in the first instance, and inspirational donor, we call him Mr. Ratanlal Kao. He was always in the forefront of donors. We constructed that puja mandap. And once people saw that some work is being done here, they didn't stop back. They didn't stop in donating. We got donations regularly, regular intervals. And we started to think of doing something more than this now. Number one, on the ground, that the place was situated at the high security zone, where no encroachment is possible, where no demolition is possible, where no desecration is possible, where the area is completely safe, and any investment made in that area is not going to be waste. So people started donating. We thought that we should have a Yatri Niwas first instance. We should have some rooms where people from outside, Hindu, because the atmosphere in Srinagar, Kashmir was not that peaceful. People were afraid of staying in hotels and in other places because of the militancy, prevalent militancy. Still people are feeling scared. We thought that we should construct some rooms so that the Hindus coming from outside Kashmir can come and stay in a very secure atmosphere. So by and by, we started constructing rooms. We constructed 2 rooms first instance, then 3. Then we planned it that what a room should have. Then we planned that a room should have a kitchen facility. Room should have an attached washroom with a geyser fitted washroom, geyser and tile fitted washroom, and a kitchen, so that a yatri, if he comes, he can cook his food, because this temple and market is almost 1.5 kilometers away. So for taking meals, he has to go 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers away. So once he gets all the things, he has gas, he has rice cooker, he has pressure cooker, he has utensils, he has everything in the kitchen. He can cook himself. He has to get the raw material. Earlier, there was no shop for raw material, but then after Prabandakh committee thought of opening a provision store also within the premises, so that whenever a yatri wants anything in the dead of the night, he gets it. And once a yatri reaches Kashmir at Bhat in the night, he gets things from that, he gets that provision store open, because that's store 24-hour service. He gets that provision store open and gets the things and can cook his food in his room and be at ease. And with this construction, by and by, we extended the road to almost Langar, where the shrine is one step away from a person. A person has to come, board down from his vehicle and climb one step, and he is in the premises of Zeashta Devi. And with the donations of public, with the cooperation of public, because public saw that something is being done. This is the first shrine, and that too is the part of during the period of militancy. A temple is being done. People donated without any limits. And right now, I inform you that we have got 30 rooms, one room sets. One room set means having kitchen, having geyser fitted bathroom. We have 30 rooms, 4 halls and a langar, big langar, big kitchen you may call, and a havan shala. And we are thankful to Kabachi Koti Pitam. They have been coming to Srinagar from 2010, and we are thankful to His Holiness Sri Jayendra Saraswati Ji, who brought the bronze idol, 300 kilo weight black granite statue of Adi Shankaracharya and installed it in the Shiv Mandir at Zeashta Devi. That's still there. In fact, the last 2 years has been the year of pandemic in Kashmir. They could not make it during those 2 years to Srinagar, but during the Shankaracharya Jayanti days, we worship Adi Shankaracharya ji with the same sentiment, the same, same respect, same regard, the way these disciples of Shankaracharya ji would do. And we, with milk, with curd, with oil, with everything, change dresses, and it has become a part of us. And we see always Kanchi Ashram always being with us, with Mr. S.P. Balasubramaniam leading the delegation always every year. I hope this year we will be will get rid of this Omicron, and they will again come again. So this was the development. This is the facilities. We have got facilities for yatris also. We have got 2 vehicles, which have been one vehicle. Both vehicles have been donated to us. We use that for dropping the people at airport, picking the people from airport, and local, in case they have to go to local market. We don't hire them for a full day. We just, in case a yatri has to go to a market to get something, he takes the vehicle and gets the item and comes back. So those facilities are provided there. Every item is available in the provision store run by. In fact, even milk, even if newborn milk, newborn milk for babies, for newborn babies, that is available at dead in the night. They can just call, they can just knock at the door in one of the rooms. There, we have got, right now we have got 5 people, 5 Hindu employees who serve the Asthapan for 24 hours. They are there for the night, they are there for the day. They attend different items of work. They attend this Puja Samgri counter. They attend this provision store angle. They attend to the Yatri Nivas, cleaning, doing every sort of things. There, we have got, in addition to that, we have non-local, rather locals, who is a sweeper, this gardener, plumber, electrician, to keep the parking area intact, to keep the buildings intact, to clean the room once it is vacated from it. And such is a problem. Our website, we have a website, we have a net booking. Now, anybody who is interested to come to Zeashta Devi Bandar, he can book online. Our email address is www.zeashtadevi.in. He can book online, www.zeashtadevi.in. Exactly. This is given on this card. Thank you, respected Shankarji. He can, address is given, bank account is given. The procedure of booking is also given on that website. How to book it. You won't have any difficulty once you, because booking has already started for 2022. So every facility is, or the person, in case somebody wants a taxi or hire also, we have tied up with some transporters, some taxi walas. We have told them that whenever a yatri from Zeashta Devi wants to go anywhere, you must charge 100 rupees less than the normal market rate. That will give them a semblance that no, we have a better service from Zeashta Devi. There is no additional charge for picking them up from Zeashta Devi and sending them off and dropping them back. So That arrangement is also done. A person who comes, apart from moving all other places, he feels the spiritual vibes in the entire area. They do sleep in the 12 in the night, 1 in the night. They keep on roaming and sting in the vast prangan of Mata Zeashta, where spirituality is spread all over, where people feel elevated, people feel emancipated. This is the facilities part of it. Then we have got the most important part during last 30 years is the protection of temples of Kashmir. That has become a very essential part for return of Kashmiri Pandits to Kashmir. In fact, if our symbols of faith are desecrated, if our symbols of faith are damaged, where will our Kashmiri Pandits go back? He's a religious mind, he's a Brahman. But there is a deliberate attempt being made by these anti-social elements to demolish, to erase our symbols of faith, to erase our memories. Such was it started in 1988 from Anantnag rights, where 36 temples were destroyed, burned in 86 itself. Then 8 temples were again burned in 88, 12 in 89, 10 in 1990, 15 in 1991, 34 in 1992. This information is not an unclassified information. This information is given by Ministry of Home Affairs in 2004 to Interministerial Group on Kashmir, Interministerial Group of MPs on Kashmir. And they have said that around 40% of the temples of Kashmiri Pandits have been erased, have been damaged, have been encouraged. Even where there would be one Kashmiri Pandit family living in any village, he definitely would have a temple there. He definitely would have a Shimshan Ghati there. All cremation grounds have been encroached. All 40%, now 50%, more than 50% temples have been desecrated, burned. Quite recently, some 10 days back, a very famous temple, Tripur Sandri, in Kolgam district, was burned. Some 2 months back, a very famous temple, Bargshakha Mandir, Bargshakha Bhagavati, that is adjacent to Sun Temple, Mutton Sun Temple, and adjacent to the Marthan Temple, that got burned. We are requesting time and again to the government that you post central security forces for the protection of these temples. Only then the temples of Kashmir will be safe. Until that is done, their temples are going to be desecrated. We will hear every day temples being damaged, temples being encouraged, temple land being encouraged. In fact, government of J&K passed an act which prohibits distress sale act. But unless the rules are rules on statute book, unless those are implemented on ground. So unless government implements this, that migrant property is the custodian, is the deputy commissioner of that district, nothing can be saved. We again request governor of J&K that to entrust DC, as he has done it in case of other other private properties, to entrust the responsibility of maintenance of temples in entire Kashmir to the responsibility of DCs of the concerned districts. That will, we also request government to frame a committee, to frame an administrative committee till the bill is passed, frame an administrative company which can identify and demarcate all the temples or the cremation grounds in every part of the Kashmir Valley, so that they are protected, Their land is protected. They are demarcated. They are forewalling is done. Unless that is done, nothing can save these temples from the savagery of the savages. This is, I mean, right now also, the most important temple is Sharika Mata temple. Sharika Mata is the Nagar Devi of Srinagar. Every Kashmiri Pandits would every day early in the morning at 4 o'clock, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, move towards Sharika Mata. They would initially visit Ganesh Mandir. It was at the start. And now that Ganesh Mandir, entrance to Ganesh Mandir has been so skewed that only 1 or 2 persons can enter at a time. Because the area around this have been encroached, road has been encroached, roads passing through has been encroached, and then again, when the Sharika Mata, the land belongs to Sharika Mata, is being sold on attorneys, on the connivance of this revenue staff of the state government. Unless this is done, unless these temples are protected, the Kashmir will not be doing Kashmir. And the people of Kashmir, the Sanatan Dharmis, Pandits of Kashmir will think twice before going to Kashmir if their symbols of faith are not protected, if their memories, their symbols of faith are erased, if their temples are erased, demolished, desecrated. So we request state government that they should kindly post central paramilitary forces for the protection of temple. And wherever it has been a practice, wherever there are temples where there are central security forces, and those are secured so far. The temples secured so far are being occupied by central security forces. The temples which are not occupied by central security forces, they are, they are demolished. You have an instance of Jwalaji Bhagwati in Crew, which is an Zeashta Devi of thousands of Kashmiri Pandits, that was burned. Now some security has been given to that. That was burned. That was reconstructed again. It is.
Mr. Bhat, there is one question that you are seeing. Was there no government, police, army, CRPF to stop the atrocities? No questions about this matter in the assembly and parliament raised. President, your friend, Advocate Balasubramaniam is posing this question.
Exactly. We had tried to propose a bill for protection of temples in this J&K State Assembly. J&K State, the bill was presented before State Assembly, but fortunately or unfortunately, there are 3 types of temples in Kashmir. One set of temples is being managed by Kashmiri Brahmins. Other set of temples is being maintained by Dharma Trust. Third set of temple is being maintained by akhadas, Dashtami Akhada, Chandrachanar Akhadas. The revenue from these temples go to Dharma Trust. They don't utilize this revenue for development of that shrine. They pocketed that. And particularly Karan Singh. Karan Singh is a patron of Dharma Trust. He has planted himself in Congress. He is an old congressman. He has kept one son in BJP, one son in PDP. So they don't allow MLAs, MPs to vote for this bill. This bill was put on vote. Even BJP people, that time BJP people opposed this bill. And the bill was dropped, bill failed. In Parliament also, we tried to pose questions every, you must see, every year or every month, every 2 months, every session, there is a question about Kashmiri Pandits in this. Even in delimitation of commission, delimitation commission is right now giving its report. We have told its delimitation commission that they have played a fraud with Kashmiri Pandits. 2011 census was conducted by Government of India, and Kashmiri Pandits were not counted either in Srinagar, where from they migrated, or at the places where they are presently living. And we have pleaded with Deliberative Commission that they should at least reserve 3 to 4 MLA seats for Kashmiri Pandits so that our voice is heard. Because we are not vote banks. We cannot elect on our own. We cannot elect a person to an assembly. So we need a reservation, as is being done in Sikkim, in Puducherry, where nomination of MLCs is allowed on religious minority basis. So we have put up with the Deliberation Commission. Let's see what happens. Any more questions, sir?
Bharat ji, it was a wonderful chronology. You started with Kalhanas, and it is like another narration like Raja Tarangani, but you know the outcome, 7 migrations. And it's really horrifying what you narrated. And what you mentioned about the spiritual vibe, which is 100% true. I really felt it. You have maintained the place so well. And your details about this Yatri Nivas is really great. That's why I'm going to display the card again. So you actually joined us on the 25th weekly series when we have covered so much of history, past glory, and the very high quality of texts Kashmir has produced. Now we get a lot of inquiries. Where will you go and stay? Can you assure that it is safe to be there for a week to visit the temples now, or we need to wait for some more time?
No, sir. It is always safe to come there and stay there. Say 100% safe. Because I will give you the topography of the Zeashta Devi for the benefit of the listeners. Zeashta Devi is situated. I have forgotten about the most important thing. I have forgotten the legend of the origin of Zeashta Devi itself. There is a legend that this Zeashta Devi temple was constructed by Gopaditya. But there is one more legend that during the period of ocean churning, Devatas and Asuras both were allowed to churn the ocean. And there, number one, at the first there came a nectar, a poisonous gas. It came into the hands of Devatas and they went to Shiva. Shiva swallowed it into his and placed it in his neck, and that's why he is called Nilkantha. While churning, they found a gem in the shape of Saraswati that fell into the hands of Asuras, because Asuras were also allowed by Bhagwan Shiva to churn the ocean. Then Devatas went to Shiva that this has happened, and they have concealed her somewhere in Gopadri hills. Lord Shiva created Mata Zeashta and Bhairav, Anandeshwar Bhairav, with directions to annihilate these Asuras and to free Saraswati. And accordingly, Zeashta, Mata Zeashta killed the demons, Mata Saraswati, and then as a matter of reward to Mata Zeashta, Lord Shiva told her, okay, you reside here in a pond of water. It is a hill and there's a pond. There's a spring. In a hill, there's a spring. Springs are seen in plains. You must have seen, but it's a hill and there's a spring, and it has its natural oozing. What is it? So then this Anasar Bhairava will we have 8 Bhairavas in Kashmir. We have the entire Kashmir is divided into 8 Bhairavas. They are governing Bhairavas of Kashmir, and Mata Zeashta is situated in Zeathyar. So about its security, on one side of it is Governor's Secretariat, Governor's house, that's fully protected. Governor cannot remain unprotected. On the back side of it is 15 Corps headquarters, Army cantonment. On the hillocks, in the evenings you will see light because there are bunkers. All the 3 side hills have bunkers. So it is amply clear, amply safe. A person can come anytime. And I for one feel that we have till the return of Kashmiri Pandits to Kashmir, we have to encourage religious tourism. I had seen, Shankarji, I had seen plan of visiting Kashmir. The place is given. We can. It will be a very cheap. We can. They have didn't mention Pahalgam, but they have mentioned 3 places of Pahalgam in that list. We can have religious 4 districts, 4 places, 6 places of 7 places of religious places, and it will be not cost more during their touchdown in Srinagar airport and their departure from Srinagar airport. It won't cost more than 8 to 10,000 rupees.
That's what I was going to ask you.
That will include their messing, their transport, local transport. That will include their everything. Stay. It will not cost them more than 8 to 10,000 per head for 6 days or 7 days. Whereas we can touch all the important shrines of each district. It can be held twice in a year. It can be held every March, every April. It can be held every September. 2 groups, but we have to create this awareness that unless see, I'll be like be very frank with you. Once there was mayhem on Kashmiri Pandits in 1990, we thought that entire India will erupt with us. With Kashmiri Pandits are in fury. They have been victimized. They have been terrorized. They have been killed. Entire India will get up, but none got up. None got up, and people still stay in camps. So, but if this is done by the my brothers in throughout India, organizing this religious tourism is the easiest of the jobs. We can be a pillar in this. We can provide everything. We may not provide them 5-star hotels. In fact, this Kamakochi Seva Foundation USA, there's one Anuradha. Yesterday she talked to me from USA. In 2016, there was complete ban. There was complete that Burhan Wani, that militant leader, was killed. There was Burhan Wani, all booking. They had a booking in Taj Hotel. All bookings were cancelled. So, but they had booked their tickets to Srinagar. Somehow they searched in the net and they found my number. While they talked to me for 2-3 days then, and finally I told them, you come over. They came, they stayed there for 1 week. They still remember that week, and we still remember that week.
You see the testimony there. She has written, Zeashta Mandir is very place to live. Bharat Bushan ji took care very well. Great hospitality. What do you want? Now, when I mentioned about this, whether the place is safe, I had in mind about the pandemic also. That is the point. Not the security issue is there, is taken care of. Pandemic issue is the one I wanted to highlight. Is it safe now?
The pandemic was, that's why 2 years we had no guests. We had very little guests. In fact, people from Kachi Mutt also didn't come because this was coronavirus was at its height. Now it is Omicron. It is now descending. It has started descending now. I feel
we have to really get this started with now. You have to come back in another slot where I'll prepare more questions for you, and also we see the questions. Now you mentioned 8 to 10,000 rupees for 1 week stay. Besides the airfare, they spend for the airfare and 8 to 10,000 for 1 week stay, and you will have an itinerary and then visiting the temples.
Their meals, stay, their local transport, their local places to visit. That will be everything arranged. That will be documented. That will be made. They will be made aware of which are the places to.
So you got to be very clear. Shopping is not included in this.
Shopping is not. Shopping not. Shopping we don't know how much a person will shop. But and about Miss Anuradha, they came. They visited Shankaracharya. They visited certain places which I told them only these places you visit. But they enjoyed their stay. They enjoyed their stay, and in fact,
we'll start working on this. This Yatri Nivas we are very familiar with. Kanchi Mutt is promoting the same Yatri Nivas concept everywhere in South India. There are many places for people to go and live in villages today. And you have the Yatri Nivas. I have seen that. You have 30 rooms, and that spiritual vibe you talked about is for real. And this is a new temple, right? This was built. So I've displayed all the details here. We will have scheduled one more program for you where we can highlight more about places to see, what are the temples, and 1 week what they can do. We have generated more interest now, with our 25 series. People have started asking about temple tourism in Kashmir. Like you mentioned, media is very much alive today, and you listed what? Your chronology is 7 migrations. At that time, we never had media. Today, I'm seeing today in Twitter, Kashmir Solidarity Day. You are aware of that, right?
Yes.
I'm seeing a lot of postings, and they say Kashmir is India, and India is Kashmir.
It is a top. Kashmir is the top of India. It is a Kalash of India. Kashmir is a Kalash of India.
So thanks for all the statistics. You gave very interesting statistics and chronological list. Like Kalgana, you have listed about the migration. Not people are aware. This is the 7 migrations. We are only talking about 1990. 7 migrations. You listed 808 families, which is a minuscule living there.
They are also living in now. They have also migrated now from their own original places of residence. They have migrated from that place to Shri in that Badami Bagh area. You must have gone. You have visited Srinagar. But this army cantonment area. There are 2 localities, Shivpura and Indranagar. They are putting up mostly in these areas. Because just 2 months back, 3 Hindus were killed. Again, because the killing has never stopped. But they kill at their own place there where they can escape. But as far as our place is there is no escape route for them. Once they are caught, once they try to hit there, they will be killed there. So
Kashmir, I know Zeashta temple is very well maintained and is quite safe. And you mentioned about security and all that. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of inquiries. People can talk to you directly, or we will have one more slot. I'll mention the date to you. We will talk about the places of visit. Maybe we'll show them more photographs, and 1 week what people can do.
Exactly. So I will be happy. I'll be happy to come to you again.
Thank you for all the support and encouraging this, and we will take it further. Sometime in April, we will see you. We are booked up to April. We have more speakers coming on board, and Kanchi Mutt is taking a lot of interest in this awareness series, and we have people from the USA going to be joining.
Hope they come this year. Hope they come this year to Srinagar.
Thank you for your time, and we are running short of time now. We will meet again and keep you informed.
Thank you.
I will display your card once again. Please make a note. This is in the YouTube. You can always go back and see the numbers and talk to Bharat Bushan Ji for any information, and we will also get him again in April. Once again, we thank you all for joining us today, and we will continue with our series next 2 or 3 months, and we are planning to continue in 2022 also. As always, we thank Kamakodi TV, then Kamakodi Facebook and YouTube channels, and not to forget VDSP for all the streaming support that they are doing. We will see you again next Saturday. Jai Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara.